Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a flexi curve and we're going to set it on Christian's back. Set it on Christian's back. His scapula or shoulder blade is right about here. Oh, I'm glad he's dirty. So his scapula moves. So you have to have a saddle that allows for clearance for his scapula to move. There you go, buddy. So that's how wide Christian is. Take it on this side. I know, Christian, I know. This is head.
Like keep scratching while you're doing the distraction.
Okay, there we go. That's the left, that's the right.
That's a 90-degree angle. Now, when we do it the western side, they come 4 inches and do it. And where we've had trouble with Christian saddles is right here.
Yep. And that's exactly where your back was hurting you. And really, it's
like flatter than most horses. It's like we have a real problem with saddles.
he actually has muscle wastage all through here.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't been allowed to develop that.
Right.
So where your back was hurting when we put you in that body posture is exactly, Ted, the problem area. So there are going to be about 8 points we're going to look at Christian just from a biomechanical standpoint to see if a saddle is helping his structure meet his function or not helping his structure meet his function. So just remember that when we're riding, if it's anywhere from Grand Prix to just riding out on trails, a horse still has to be an athlete and carry weight properly. So we're not going to wear high heels to go hiking, or at least I hope not. So the first point we're going to look at with Christian in motion are the tops of his hips. We're going to see if they're level, or if one's higher, or if one's lower. And we're just going to see if that gets better, worse, or stays the same when a saddle is on his back. The next point we're going to look at is the point of his hip to the point of his buttock to the point of his stifle. If this angle closes more, what that means is that his hind leg is carrying weight better because it's going to be able to close more to lift up this massive body weight. The next point we're going to look at is Christian's tail. We're going to see how he carries it without all of these points we're going to first look at without a saddle on his back. But we're going to just take notice of his tail to see if it's tight or loose or swings more in one direction. And then when we take notice of that, we're just going to observe if it gets better, worse, or stays the same when a saddle's on his back. The next point we're going to look at are his hocks. We're just going to take notice if there's any twisting, turning, because we don't want any of that. The next point we're going to look at is the length of his stride for his hind legs to see if they're equal, if he's lengthening more on one side or shortening on another side. We're just going to take notice of that to see what he's like even before a saddle is on his back. The next point we're going to look at is this area right behind the saddle. What that is going to tell us is if he doesn't like a certain saddle, he'll drop away from it. If he's starting to enjoy a saddle more, he'll be able to put his hind legs underneath him and round his back in order to lift the weight better. The next point we're going to look at as well as listen is to see if his front legs, how free moving, how swinging his shoulders are. His shoulders are not connected by bone. It's all connected by, that's sensitive, huh? Muscles and tendons and ligaments. We're also going to listen to his front foot falls. We shouldn't be able to hear them if he's using his shock absorbers. If he's using his front legs as shock absorbers, you're going to hear lots of pounding. The last point we're going to look at is Christian's head and neck. Even though his head is down, if his hind leg is out behind him, his head and neck will automatically lift up. If his hind leg is carrying him, his head and neck will automatically bob downwards and walk. Hopefully he's not going to be bobbing and trot. So those are the 8 points we're going to be looking at while Christian is being lunged.